So we're here as the Socialist Workers' Party down at the protest at New Scotland Yard today after the murder of Sarah Everard. There was a vigil yesterday at Clapham Common along with many other places across the UK. What we saw there was massive police brutality and assaults on the female protesters who organised the vigil. This is shocking. We're appalled at the absolute lack of recognition that there is not just racism at the very heart of the police force and the state, but also sexism. This is something as socialists that we've said for a long time, so we're here at the protest. We're going to keep protesting about it so we can ultimately get rid of all oppressions in society and get rid of the state that creates them in the first place.
So I've just returned home from the protests and there were thousands of people there, incredibly young and incredibly angry, and not just the police but the state that produces sexism, and also the fact that Priti Patel is launching a bill next week in Parliament which is only going to increase police powers. I think the protests today, the ones that have been called further in the week, and also the anger and the violence that was seen at the vigil in Clapham Common yesterday, has been a real watershed moment in British politics.
The last week has lifted a lid on the rampant sexism within society and how the police uphold that oppression. The alleged murderer of Sarah Everard was a serving police officer. He has also been accused of public indecency just 3 days before her murder. Why was he allowed to continue serving after such a charge, and what does this say about the role of the police within society? The scenes on Saturday at Clapham Common have angered many. What we saw on our screens was mostly male police officers arresting and harassing female protesters who had come out to reclaim the streets. Many people argued after the disappearance of Sarah that we needed more police on the streets to make us feel safe. This has been proved absolutely wrong by the actions of the Metropolitan Police Force on Saturday night at Clapham Common. Saturday showed us that police don't protect us, they are actually a threat to women. And this was a sign of things to come. Priti Patel's new bill will give police more powers to attack protesters. The police forced the original organisers to cancel the vigils and urged women to stay at home in the name of safety. Don't they know that it is the home where most sexual assaults, rape and harassment take place? It's actually the home that is the most dangerous place for women, with an average of 2 women a week being killed by former partners in 2019. So we are protesting about these individual acts of violence, but we are also protesting to fundamentally change the system that objectifies and commercialises women's bodies and promotes violence against them. As the media outlets have poured outrage at the violence against women, we have to recognise that it is these very same media outlets that objectify women on a day-to-day basis. The best way to fight this rampant sexism is to come out onto the streets, not stay at home. It is about the thousands who have taken action over the last few days and women on the ground at the roots of society that will make a difference, not women at the top. Did having a female at the head of the Metropolitan Police Officer like Cressida Dick have any impact on how the police officers treated female protesters at Clapham Common? Or does having a female Home Secretary like Priti Patel make women feel any safer on the streets?
Let's remember that this is the same police that has a disgusting track record of convicting anyone accused of rape or sexual harassment. This is the same police force that just over a year ago, 2 coppers took selfies with 2 murdered sisters in a park. This is the same police force that at the very heart of it has violence against women. Just like I said, police officers are the most likely people to abuse their partners in the home. So I think we can begin to understand that more police on the streets is not how we get safety in society. And like I said before, these were the same questions that were thrown up by the international Black Lives Matter movement. On the demonstration today, people were asking, who do you protect? Who do you serve? It is very clear that the police do not protect us, working class people. What they do protect is the system and the wealth at the top of society. That's who they're employed by, the state, and that is where their allegiance lies, with the very same state that oppresses black people, that sees women's bodies as objects, that refuses to give nurses a pay rise, and that fundamentally creates inequality and divides throughout society.
If there's one thing that we've learned in the last week, it's that women will not be silenced. So let's not stop now. We have to continue to take to the streets in order to change things. Let's fight for women to be safer, fight against more police powers, and ultimately fight for a better world.